Hi and welcome back. My name is Delmas. I am a clinician and a neuropsychiatry specialist. Today we are going to talk about what anxiety really is. But before we do that, so we have to talk about anxiety disorder a little. So you ask, what is the anxiety disorders? Anxiety disorders are persistent and intense fear or worry that interfere with someone's daily life. So, what anxiety really is? Anxiety isn't just stress. Anxiety, it's more than feeling worried. Anxiety is your brain and your body response. So here's what happened in your brain, which caused someone to experience anxiety symptoms. Well, in order for you to better understand what anxiety really is, we have to talk about two different parts of our brain that are responsible for being anxious or experiencing anxiety symptoms. So one of the part that we're going to talk about is the amygdala, and the other one is the prefrontal cortex. So what are the roles for both of them? That's what we have to cover for you in order for you to understand really what's happening. The question is, did you know that your brain have an alarm system built in? Well, just like your house, you have an alarm system there for when there's a fire and when there's a problem. So it's the same for the amygdala, the part of the brain, because that's the brain building alarm system. So the amygdala will sense the danger, right? And then will sense you and let the body knows that get into action, flight, fight, or freeze. Okay? And your amygdala is also your emotional alarm system, right? So which attack feelings to memories. Hence why when someone experiences a scary event and it stays in your mind forever. And it's the same when someone experiences something joyful and you remember exactly that joyful event and it stays in your mind forever. Okay? So, the amygdala, which is your brain alarm system, can definitely fire even when there's no danger, right? That's false alarm. So when it fires, because it's overactive, which will fuel up anxiety and or PTSD, right? So my question today for you is, does your brain get into overdrive even when everything is normal, everything is okay? If yes, please comment yes. Okay? So, what is the role then of the prefrontal cortex? So, the prefrontal cortex is the decision maker, right? It helps definitely with focus, with problem solving, and also self-control. So, when the amygdala, right, overactive, fires up, right, or triggers someone to have anxiety symptoms, so the prefrontal cortex role is to calm the situation down and check to see if there's any danger. So if there's any danger, yes. If there's no danger, that the prefrontal cortex role is to calm the brain down. Sometimes when there's too much stress and the prefrontal cortex cannot shut it down. So if that happens, so the prefrontal cortex definitely will go into strike, right? It's just like a CEO. If there's no danger, the prefrontal cortex should be able to slow the brain from overactive, right? But it doesn't always happen that way. Think about a CEO of a company, right? And when that CEO done working, and then so they just clock out. So it's the same with the prefrontal cortex. When there's too much going on, it will clock out. But when everything is going well, the prefrontal cortex will keep that person's well balanced, and the person will be more active, will be able to make more sound decision. But when it's over or underactive, that's when it creates problem. For instance, if it's underactive, then it will cause someone to have flight effect and cause depression. So the amygdala needs to work properly for someone to feel balanced. All right? Well, if this hit home, save this video, share it with someone, okay? And remember, this is a series. So the next one will be how to calm your brain down. Keep watching, keep sharing, keep learning. Let's do it together. And until then, take care of yourself. God bless.